So guys, this is my weekly report for March 20th. As you know, we've been having a lot of rain, a lot of wind, so I haven't been getting out too much. But I was out yesterday, and as you can look around, go ahead, zoom in and check out the background, and guess where I'm at. But fishing was okay. Dave caught about a 5 pounder, and then I caught one close to 20, and we caught a whole bunch of undersized. So, the stripers are starting to show up a little bit. And I caught one bass about 5 pounds. So, we're just coming out here, checking it out, and hopefully we can do good on Saturday. So, anyway, as far as like ocean fishing is not much, because of all this bad weather we're having. Haven't heard anybody going out there or anybody doing any crabbing or anything. The season's still open, but nobody's been able to get out. It's even rough in the bay. Pretty soon, the halibut fishing will start here pretty soon, and they're catching a few stripers, but a lot of the stripers are starting to move in the system now. They're starting to catch them. I got guys catching them on bait. Sherman Island was pretty good. The San Joaquin's been awesome the last 3 or 4 weeks. A lot of fish in there, and they're actually getting pretty good size. But other than that, the best thing going on probably is sturgeon fishing. These guys are fishing out there by Rio Vista to Martinez, and they're catching a lot of sturgeon. Steve Mitchell, Richie Ocusta, Jay Lopes, the normal guys. Those guys are out there. It's all catch and release. You got to have a report card, and you want to make sure you fill those report cards out. Even when you go fishing off the bank, you need to report it. You need to write down the day you went. You're supposed to do that anyway, and the area where you're at. And then if you catch a small one or keeper or oversized, write it down and turn them in, because that's how they get their data. All the years that nobody used to send them in, and look what happened now. You can't keep any. So pay attention, fill them report cards out, and send them in at the end of the year. They're also doing some decent sturgeon fishing in the Sacramento River. It's still a little off color, so the sturgeon fishing is pretty good. Guys are starting to already catch stripers. This is already April, March. Yeah, almost the middle of March now. Come time April is a full run for the spring run fish in the Sacramento River. So, but I know guys are catching them on bait already in the river. I think the Central Delta out there by Rio Vista, it's been hit and miss because the water's been so muddy. But when those fish decide to come, when it clears up a little and the water temperature rises, they're going to buzz right on by, and they're going to go right up to Sacramento. So, I think this year is going to be a little bit slower out there, and it's probably going to be better in the dang river. Black bass fishing. I went out once last week, and it was really tough. We didn't catch very many. It was a slow bite. That weather came in, and that cold front, and it just shut them off. Up there in Liberty, the water temperature 2 weeks ago was like 56 to 58, and it dropped down to 48 to 50, and those fish just got lockjaw. Next week we're supposed to get weather in the high 70s and 80s, and I predict it's going to bust wide open again. Those fish on pre-spawn, they don't go very far. They might just sit out on the edge of the weeds and not do nothing, and when the water temperature warms up, they just move right on up and do their thing. This year has been awesome for Clear Lake. It's been one of the best years in years. These tournaments going on up there, it's taking over 40 pounds for 5 fish to win them. Berryessa had a tournament a few weeks ago. It took 33 pounds. So, there's a lot of lakes that are doing good. Don Paganelli's been fishing Folsom and Berryessa, doing really well. I'm sure Orville, little Luke's been going up there, and I think he's been going to Mother Lode Lakes too. And they've been doing really well. So, all that's going to happen. It's going to happen quick next week if the weather warms up. So anyway, the trout fishing, haven't heard too much. I heard bluefish being caught at Collins. New Melones is probably good. I know they're getting some at Folsom. All the lakes are going to be good here because the weather's still pretty cool. I'm sure they're still planning. I know Pardee and Comanche, if there's no boats allowed, period, no watercraft at all. You can't even take a kayak. So, if you rent a boat, you can, but other than that, you cannot take a boat on them lakes because of the golden mussel. There's a lot of things happening real quick about the golden mussel issue. I know at New Melones, they're tagging your boat, and that's the only place that you could go as New Melones. You can't take your boat anywhere else. So they're not agreeing on this green tag system yet, which they're going to have to. In order to make this work, they're going to have to agree on that. So Kokanee, Rob's been going up to Buller's Bar, Big Al, Rick used to work with me at Fisherman's Warehouse. They've been going to Buller's Bar and they're catching a lot of cokes from 10 to 12 inches, and they're going up the river. So, you know, they're telling me easy limits, you know, 4 people on the boat and they're catching 40 kokanee. King fishing, been a little bit slow, but if I were to go, I'd probably go to Orville or Folsom. Berryessa has been really tough, but, you know, it's going to happen here real quick. Crappie fishing. Berryessa Paganelli was up there a couple weeks ago and did really well on them. I don't know what's going on there now, but it should be pretty decent still. The Delta, I know guys are going in the back of these sloughs that were dead ends, so the water's still clear, and they're actually doing pretty good on the Delta on the crappie. So Steelhead, American River is the only place I heard that's still been pretty decent. Austin Wilson and Kyler Perry been doing really good there. They posted a bunch of pictures on their sites that they were catching them. You know, if you want to go somewhere close, you can get a hold of one of them guys. You know, every week my reports are almost kind of identical because we have these fronts coming in all the time, cooling the weather down. You know, instead of being steady warm and getting into spring, getting warmer and warmer and warmer, we keep getting warm, getting cold, getting warm, getting cold. And what it does, it just pushes the fish back, and they'll sit there and wait, and then they'll move back up. And then when it does happen and decide to stay warm and, you know, get those springtime days, then fishing is going to be good. You could go catch anything you want. So anyway, if you guys have any trouble with your boats or you're looking for a new one, go see Gone Fishing Marine. Even electronics, even in installing them, you know, they do it. And anyway, he called me the other day. We were on a SEP show, and he's surprised guest and got on there and said, "Hey, your ductwork came in, so we're going to unwrap it and build it for you." So, you know, I'm going to get that boat here real quick, run it for a year. Last boat I got, I think I put maybe 25 hours on it. And Denise ended up buying that one. And then this one will go up for sale next year, probably around March. Anyway, every Saturday morning, I'm on California Sportsman's on 1140 on the AM dial. Every first Saturday of the month, I usually go in the studio, and then I'm talk on his and Kent Brown's Ultimate Bass. Other than that, I'm on SEP's show, and my segment comes on at 6:40 in the morning every Saturday, whether I'm there or I call in from my boat or wherever I'm at. And anyway, Derek's been out, the blind squirrel guy. He's been out going to Berryessa. He posted some pictures of some trout he is catching. And, you know, when he does a video, whether he catches them or not, he still posts them, and he still tells you all about how he's doing it or how he's not doing it. So, you know, check him out. And also, I'm still doing this consultant thing on electronics. I'm really busy. And also, like, if there's a particular kind of fishing you want to learn how to do, whether it's kokanee or whatever, I also offer that. It's better to contact me now just directly to my cell number, which is 916-761-7594. If I don't answer, just leave me a message. If you like the video, hit that like, please subscribe, leave a comment, and I'll get back to you within a few days. So thanks for watching. See you next week.